All right, hello. Could you
Hi,
verify
babe.
your identity for us?
Yes, my name is Brian Thomas Britton.
Okay, so in this interview, we're just going to go through the version of events of what happened back in March 1989. So, could you start with like what happened when you first woke up on that morning?
Well, when I first woke up, I went into the bathroom like any other day to start washing up, brushed my teeth, and when I was in the bathroom, my mother had walked up and she knocked on the door to see who was in there.
Mm-hmm.
And when she realized that it was me, we continued the argument that we had the night before. So during the argument, when she got really mad, she stormed off. And when she stormed off, I left the bathroom. And I was going to wake my father up to talk to him. But
Mm-hmm.
knowing that he always took my mom's side and stuff, especially during the last few months prior to me getting arrested, I went into my room and I grabbed a 20 gauge shotgun that was on the gun rack. And I took the gun into my parents' bedroom. And when I first got in there, my dad was asleep, obviously, and I got nervous, so I dropped the shotgun, and it actually the barrel hit the bed, but the stock hit the floor. It made a little bit of noise,
Oh.
and when I reached down to pick up the shotgun, my dad woke up, and
What do you
it scared
say?
me. It scared me, um, and he was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he went to go reach for the shotgun, and when I got scared, I was like, I could already see it in my head that it wasn't going to be good. So out of fear, I pulled the trigger the first time, and that was the shot that hit him in the chest.
Mm.
And then I automatically cycled and reloaded, and I shot him the second time.
And
And
was he deceased then, or what did he say? Was he unconscious?
after the second shot, he was still alive, but he was unconscious at that point. Um, then I could hear my mom yelling, so I stepped out of the bedroom. When I stepped out of the bedroom, me and my mother pretty much confronted each other near the foyer by the stairs that went down to the front door.
Mm.
And she started yelling at me, "What did you do? What are you doing?" And she
Mm.
grabbed the shotgun, by the barrel, and she was tugging on it. And from her tugging on it, with my finger already on the trigger, the gun went off, and it threw her into the living room, which was the room just prior to the kitchen. And during that time, my sister had woke up. Sherry had woke up at that time,
Mm-hmm.
and she came out just as I had fired the second shot into my mother.
Where was the second shot located on your mother? And from the first shot, was her eyes closed? Like, was she unconscious?
She was half conscious, I would say. I don't think she was fully conscious by the time the second shot hit. And the second shot hit her in the back of the neck at the base of the head. Um,
And then what? Like, was that the second? That was the fatal shot.
that was the fatal shot for my mom, yes.
All right. And then
Um,
what did you do?
After that, Sherry had come out and she threw a couple books at me at first. And as I approached her, she went to go grab at me, and that's when I fired the first time at my sister.
Was she in her bedroom when you approached her?
No, she was standing by the staircase where the foyer was.
And she was just watching?
Yeah, at that point, she had
Oh my
just
god.
rounded the corner and she had stopped. right there at the top of the stairs.
So what happened when, like, she saw you? Or, like, what did she say?
Sherry didn't say anything to me. She just grabbed some books that were on. There was like I don't even know how to describe it. It's almost like a glassed-in bookcase, but we had extra books and stuff on top of it, and she just started hurling books at me. And when I got close, she made a grab for the shotgun, and when she grabbed for the shotgun, I fired. That shot, when she got hit, that was the shot where she got hit in the stomach. She fell down the stairs, and as she was reaching for the door handle to open the door, I fired the second shot.
Where was that shot?
That was the shot that hit her in the head.
Like, what part of the head?
I'm going to say the upper part, like the top part of her skull.
Okay.
It didn't, from what I understand from the forensics, it didn't penetrate. It just, it was birdshot, so it grazed off of her head, really. And
wait,
after that,
was this a different gun than what you used for your parents?
No, it's the same gun.
Okay.
And then I had realized that I hadn't seen Jason in that whole time. And so I went into our bedroom to look for him. I really, honestly had no intentions of shooting Jason at all. None. And I didn't see him. So when I was over by the closet, I went into the closet and I heard a loud sound behind me. And it was Jason coming out from where he had been hiding between his bed and the one dresser that had the entertainment and stuff on it. I just spun and reflexively fired at him. And it caught him in the chest. He fell back against his bed, rebounded off the bed, and he was like, "Why did you shoot me, Bri?" And he ran past me. And he fell and landed where my mother was laying. And I went out. And I turned him on his side. Then I went and I checked my mother. My mother was already dead. Sherry was still alive down by the door. When I went back into my parents' bedroom to check my father was alive.
Wait, I thought Sherry went to her bedroom.
Sherry, well, when I left the house, because my dad had asked me to go get Richie.
Okay, explain. Your dad was incredibly somehow still alive, you had told me, and he said, go get Richie. Like, you went to his room, and were his eyes open? Where was he? What was he laying on the bed?
He was still laying on the bed. He had one of his eyes open. The other one was kind of like swollen shut.
Oh, my God. And then what?
He said, go get Richie. And I took the shotgun and I drew it up into the attic opening. And I went out the second floor window. Between the time that I left and when the police got there, Sherry had managed to go from where she was laying down by the door. She went into the bathroom where she obviously washed up a little bit, and then the police found her lying in the bed. Yep.
So then what? Like, what were you wearing when you left the house and you went to your grandparents' and uncle's house?
Yes, that was next door. I was wearing a olive drab colored green t-shirt that had a Vietnam logo on it and a pair of shorts barefoot. And it was March. It was cold.
So then what? Like, what did you tell your parents? I mean, your grandparents when you first got there?
When I banged on the door, my Uncle Richard opened the door, and I told him that an intruder had broke in to get the police there, and by telling telling them that when the police did show up, they took their time because they thought that somebody might have still been in the house that was armed. And it was because of that delay that my dad bled to death.
Don't say that. So you made a lot of bad decisions that morning.
I did.
Well, what do you think you could have done differently? Like, when you got to their house.
You mean with my parents?
No, when the neighbor's house. Like, what do you think you should have said?
I should have just told them I did it. Honestly.
So then the police did not arrest you at first?
No, I wasn't arrested until a couple hours later.
Okay, and then, alright, so now let's talk about the psychology and, like, the motive behind it. So what would you say was the motive, to sum it up?
Rage, anger.
You mentioned there was physical abuse.
Yeah, there was a lot of abuse in the house. It was just little things that built up over the years. You know, I got broken bones. I have teeth chipped by my dad.
Wow.
You know, and it started bleeding over onto Jason. Jason was being seen at 8 years old by his school psychologist because of the abuse in the household. We were seen multiple times by, I want to say it was Astor Clinic. I was young when it started, but there were counseling sessions with the whole family. There was a lot of abuse in the house. And the last couple of months before I got arrested, it was really getting bad. And that's one of the reasons why I was spending most of the time away from the house, normally down at my girlfriend's house at the time, or out with friends. I tried to spend as little time as I could at home. You know?
Oh, and mention about what do you think happened with Jason's head? Because you had told me that you did not hit him in the head with the gun stock, even though people believe that.
Yeah, everybody believes that I hit him in the head with the gun stock, and I didn't. The 12 gauge got broke when Sherry fell down the stairs, and that had been laying in the corner near the front door. When she hit down at the bottom of the stairs, the stock broke, and part of the stock itself was laying under one of her legs. And when I went down and grabbed that shotgun to throw up into the attic crawl space with the other shotgun, that piece of stock got left under her leg. And I didn't hit him with it. I don't know how he got the head injury. I didn't even know he had a head injury until weeks later.
You think maybe it was when he was dragged out by the police? Or you said something about the stairs?
Yeah, the contusion that he had on the side of his head also matched the staircase, the tread, the actual edge of the stair. So when the police first got there, thinking that there was still somebody that could possibly be armed inside, they saw Jason laying near the top of the stairs, and one of the officers actually grabbed onto him and dragged him out just so they can get him out of the house. And yeah, I don't know how he got that head injury.
So, okay, and a big question. So what were you thinking? Like, you were not, like, about the consequences. Did you not realize, you know, you'd spend your whole life in prison for this? Like, you never thought about that when you did it? And, oh, also, was it premeditated or impulsive?
It was impulsive. I had the same kind of arguments with my mother almost on a daily basis. That morning, I snapped. It was too much. But even even up to the point where I entered my dad's bedroom with a gun in my hand. I had no intentions of shooting anybody or hurting anybody. But,
so yeah, were you not thinking of the consequences though? Like, didn't you realize what would happen? You know, your whole life would be spent in a prison?
No, honestly, I didn't. It was, in the moment, I didn't think about anything except stopping myself from getting hurt.
So now, oh yeah, I was gonna ask, like, so what was it like when you first entered into jail or prison in the beginning? Like, were you suicidal? Were you shocked? Were you scared? Like, how are you feeling?
It's a different environment. Back then, when I first came to prison, it was a way different environment. You fought all the time. Prisons were a lot more violent back then. I wasn't afraid, but it was just, it was a new environment, and it was tough. I wasn't suicidal or anything. It was just, you know, I was more accepting of where I was at the time because I was young. I knew I did something that deserved prison time, and you know, but that was then. Today, I have changed.
Oh yeah, talk a little bit about what you're looking forward to in the future, if you have a significant other, you know, things of that sort.
I do have a significant other, and he's you.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to getting married to you, and I am looking forward to being given a chance to come home to you.
Yeah, where do you plan on living when you get home? And could you just reassure a certain victim that you have no intentions of hurting them?
Yeah, well, I plan, and I have everything set to parole to you, out of state, home to my wife, and for the community that I got locked up in. I'm sorry. You know, I can't take back what happened.
Do you have a lot of remorse and you just don't show it? Because I've noticed, like, you are very good at hiding in your emotions. So even though it may not look like it, people can't tell what you're feeling on the inside. So explain about the remorse thing of people saying you have no remorse.
I do have a lot of remorse. And I do. I have my one cousin tells me I have a flat look whenever my case comes up, and I do. It hurts a lot to talk about it.
Well, thanks for going through it today. Yeah, do you feel guilt? Like, do you think about it frequently? Does it? Yeah, how often do you think about the case, and like, do you feel really guilty for taking 3 lives?
I do, and I think about it every day.
Oh, don't say that. It's that bad.
It's true. It's not something that you just forget. You know, it's not something that you just remember when you feel like remembering it.
Well, what's done is done, and all we could do really is look forward to the future. So, yep, I wish you the best of luck. I hope you get paroled. Do you plan on doing any more future podcasts, like with Phil? Because I hate to say, but in Phil Calmer's podcast, wait, we're still on the interview. He kind of picked you apart, I hate to say, but because there's parts of it you didn't get to hear, which is a group of psychologists kind of like deciphering you psychologically and saying that you're deflecting blame and projecting and putting all this, saying mean stuff about you.
Yeah, no, I don't plan on doing any more with Phil. I'll do another one with you, though.
We do plan on doing one whenever he gets home to me on parole in the future. So hopefully Sherry could, cool it with the petitions. Do you have anything to say about that? Like, it's very hurtful that your own sister doesn't want you out.
Yeah, but I understand her concern, but I'd like to reassure her that I have no intentions of paroling back anywheres in New York, and that I respect her decision not to have contact with me, and I won't contact her or her family, and I wish her the best in life. Yeah, I just wish we could both move past this.
Maybe someday there could be one last meeting, like a reconciliation, like once you and I have our kids and we're married. You never know.
I would like that.
All right, I'm going to stop the interview now. Say goodbye to your fans and haters.
Well, I hope everybody enjoys themselves. I'd really like to apologize to everybody, and I thank you for listening.
All right, bye. I mean, don't hang up, but hold on.